لا إله إلا الله محمد رسول الله.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. There have been many janazas and funerals over the last few weeks, and I dare say that the whole community has been touched by one or more of those recent deaths, and in particular the families that have been affected because of the necessity of social distancing. It has become necessary to grieve in isolation, and the normal getting together, not just for the funeral in large crowds, but also for condolences, meeting up, visiting one another, has become impossible. And so here are a few words which I wish to share with those of you in particular who have been personally affected by a death of a near or dear one. Ultimately, the message is the same. The reality is that when we encourage one another to do sabr, it makes it easy for the other person. If someone says this to you in a compassionate way at the right time, just asks you to be patient, that can be of great help said at the right time. It can give the person the extra courage and energy, and that's what we normally do when we offer condolences. When we say inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un, to Allah we belong and to Him we return, it's a reminder that we are Allah's. He owns us, we are His, and we are all to return to Him. The person who's passed away has returned to Allah, and we are going to follow suit. When we go to the graveyard, what do we say? We say, Assalamu alaikum ya dara qawmi mu'minin. Salam upon you, O house or residence of the believing people, and residence of believing people. And then what do we say? And we are going to join you. Wa inna insha'Allahu bikum lalahiqun. We're going to join you as well. So there's this constant reminder in our du'as and in our words of condolence that we are all going in the same direction. It's a temporary separation and we're going to meet up. So when we can offer condolences to one another in Islam, what do we say? The same points. We remind one another with the words inna lillah wa inna ilayhi raji'un of the akhirah. We remind one another inna lillahi ma akhadh wa lahu ma a'ta wa kulla shay'in indahu ila ajalin musamma. Allah, inna lillahi ma akhadh. Whatever Allah took back was His to begin with. When Allah takes a soul back, it's His to begin with. Inna lillahi ma akhadh. What Allah has taken is His. Wa lahu ma a'ta. And whatever He's given is also His. Everything belongs to Allah. وَلِلَّهِ مَا فِي السَّمَاوَاتِ وَمَا فِي الْأَرْضِ. Everything in the heavens and earth belongs to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So, إِنَّ لِلَّهِ مَا أَخَذْ وَلَهُ مَا أَعْطَى وَكُلَّ شَيْءٍ عِنْدَهُ إِلَىٰ أَجَلٍ مُسَمَّى. And everything with Allah is appointed at a fixed time. It has a fixed time limit, and whenever Allah wills, it's taken back, it goes towards fana. Similarly, the dua, Allahumma la tahrimna ajra wa la taftinna ba'dah, which is recited when we're offering condolences and when someone passes away. Allahumma la tahrimna ajra. Oh Allah, don't deprive us of the ajr of this dying person. وَلَا تَفْتِنَّا بَعْدَ. And don't put us into fitna and into a test in which our iman and faith is tested after him. So this dua, it's a powerful dua. We're saying to Allah, subhanallah, Allahumma la tahrimna ajra. The Salaf knew this well. When someone passes away, there is ajr for the others in that person. There is ajr through the kafan and the dafan and the janazah and the dua. But there's ajr through the sabr. This is the major ajr. So when you are experiencing the grief of separation because someone has passed away and you couldn't even bury them with your own hands, you couldn't wash and bathe them in the way you'd have loved to do so in the normal way, you weren't able to go close to their bedside when they were in their final moments, and now you see their empty bed in your house, their empty room in your house, and you can't muster the courage to clear the room up. How many of you have been through this? At this point, remember, Allahumma la tahrimna ajra. Oh Allah, don't deprive us of His reward, her reward. Ajraha. Wa la taftinna ba'dahu ba'daha. Oh Allah, don't deprive us of, and don't put us into fitna after. In other words, allow our hearts to be strong so we don't question your decree, which is full of wisdom. It was meant to happen, it happened. It was decreed before the child came into the dunya that they would pass away at the age of 15 or 50 or 75, whatever it may be. and the circumstances and the place, they were decreed from before. It was meant to happen that way. So Allah grant us tawfiq to have iman in you and to accept your decision, and grant us reward in our grieving. So this is something which we may have to do alone. It might not be possible for someone to put their hand around your shoulder and to say words of solace and to reassure you and to keep you distracted as well. What happens is, subhanAllah, when you pass away, when someone passes away and you have a bereavement in the family and you have that stream of guests for 2-3 days, that's what Islam says, that ta'ziyah is for 3 days. What happens? This time, I find, subhanAllah, I see wisdom in this of another level. On the one hand, Islam is saying quickly bury and move on. And it's restricting the ta'ziyah and the condolences to 3 days, the formal amount of time after the burial. So on the one hand, it's restricting that, so you can move on in life. And this means the person who's been bereaved as well, move on in life. But on the other hand, Islam is also giving us an opportunity to take that person's attention away, divert. If a person's sitting on their own and going deep into thought and vegetating and becoming depressed, and what's going to happen? It's going to become very difficult for them to begin to engage again. So in the time when they are sort of most vulnerable, we are told to visit them, say words of reassurance to them. So I'm saying words of reassurance to you now, and I hope that Allah makes it a source of reassurance to you if you are a person in this situation. It may be the case that you're alone. Remember, Allah Azza wa Jalla is watching everything, and because your test is greater, the reward is greater, and the separation is temporary. We are all going in the same direction. We need to move on, accept Allah's decree. So these are just a few words. There's so much we could say about this, but I feel it's necessary to acknowledge and to appreciate the fact that many people across the city are experiencing bereavement, and as a consequence, they're not being able to meet up. We make dua for all of you. We make dua for everybody who's been bereaved. May Allah Azza wa Jal make your grieving an easy time, and may Allah rebuild your broken hearts and accept your pious du'as for yourselves and for the people who've passed away and for us all. And may Allah forgive the deceased. Subhanallah, yes, it's true. And I'll finish with this. We may not have been able to bury some of our brothers and sisters who passed away the way we would normally. There have been changes because of protocols and distancing measures and safety measures. But remember, Allah Azza wa Jal's compassion for His creation is greater than a mother. And so, and this is why the Masnoon du'as are an inspiration at all times, and at the best of times and at the worst of times. One of the du'as for the janazah, Allahumma ghfir lahu warhamhu wa'afihi wa'afu anhu wa akrim nuzulahu wasi' mudkhala, in which we're asking Allah for the forgiveness of this person and for their grave to be expanded and for Allah to honor their entrance into the grave. The next part of the dua, and I'm mentioning this specifically, وَاغْسِلْهُ بِالْخَطَايَا وَالذُّنُوبِ مِنَ الْخَطَايَا وَالذُّنُوبِ وَاغْسِلْهُ بِالْمَاءِ وَالثَّلْجِ وَالْبَرْدِ. Oh Allah, wash this person with water and snow and ice, with hailstones. So the heat and the bitterness of death, we're asking Allah, forgive this person and perform their ghusl in your own way. وَاغْسِلْهُ بِالْمَاءِ وَالثَّلْجِ. Direct request to Allah. Oh Allah, do ghusl of this person. وَاغْسِلْهُ بِالْمَاءِ وَالثَّلْجِ وَالْبَرْدِ وَنَقِّهِ مِنَ الْخَطَايَا وَالذُّنُوبِ. Oh Allah, purify this person from stains the way white clothing is purified from stains. Purify him from sins and mistakes. And now, since it comes to my mind, I'm going to finish with this one more anecdote for you, this one more narration. Sayyidina Hanzala radiallahu anhu. I keep remembering him these days when I go to these janazas. Sayyidina Hanzala radiallahu anhu, Ghasilul Malaika, special sahabi. He's famous for other reasons as well, special sahabi. When he passed away, he became shaheed in a battle. And what happened is the call was given and the Sahaba left their houses, and Hanzala radiallahu anhu was in a state of intimacy with his wife at the point and he needed ghusl. And because of the call on behalf of Rasulullah, he left the house without doing the ghusl, keen to join the rank and file of the Sahaba. And so he became shaheed in that battle. And a person who's martyred in the field is buried in their original clothing, which they are wearing at the time, and they are not given a ghusl. And so his janazah is placed before Rasulullah and the Sahaba, and the Sahaba observe, Rasulullah observes that his hair is dripping from water, because the very angels had descended to give him ghusl, because he hadn't done ghusl before he left his house. We ask Allah Azza wa Jal to wash our brothers and sisters with His mercy and with the water of the hereafter, with which He uses for His select ones, and to grant patience to the friends and family of all of those who left this dunya. Wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin.